The day is already over, but your mind keeps asking for one more video. You are no longer choosing what to watch. The next distraction is choosing for you. Regret usually arrives after the time has already disappeared. A tired mind often mistakes stimulation for rest. You keep consuming because stopping would force you to face the silence. Self-control begins inside, a pause nobody else can see. The morning carries the cost of every decision you made the night before. Before your body wakes up, the habit has already returned. You do not lose the morning all at once. You surrender it in small pieces. The first choice of the day teaches your mind who is in control. Sometimes distraction hurts because it reveals how powerless you feel. You may be physically present while your attention is somewhere else entirely. The first step is not becoming focused. It is admitting that your attention is broken. Where did my time go? Awareness turns an invisible habit into something you can finally confront. The time lost in the morning, during work hours, and before sleep. The truth may feel uncomfortable, but comfort is what kept the pattern alive. What you measure stops feeling like a vague problem and becomes a pattern you can change. Every distraction follows a sequence, and every sequence contains a place where you can interrupt it. A few seconds of awareness can separate a conscious choice from an automatic reaction. When the urge appears, do not obey it immediately. An urge feels permanent when you are inside it, but most urges weaken when you stop feeding them. The difficult task creates discomfort before it creates progress. Your mind searches for the fastest escape the moment meaningful work becomes uncomfortable. Make the first action smaller before your brain turns discomfort into avoidance. Focus often arrives after action begins, not before. Every delayed reaction becomes one repetition of self-control. Deep focus is not never drifting. It is noticing the drift and returning without drama. The first victory may feel less like excitement and more like relief. 5 honest minutes are more valuable than an hour spent pretending to work. A planned check can become an endless escape unless you create a clear stopping point. Purpose gives technology a boundary. Finish the purpose that brought you to the device before the device invents another purpose. Every interruption leaves part of your attention behind. Constant switching exhausts the mind without creating meaningful progress. Remove unnecessary triggers before asking yourself to resist them all day. A quiet device gives your nervous system permission to stop expecting interruption. Every extra step between you and a bad habit gives awareness more time to appear. A less stimulating environment may feel empty, before it begins to feel peaceful. Removing triggers does not immediately remove the craving. Boredom feels uncomfortable when your mind has forgotten how to be unstimulated. Learning to tolerate quiet is part of rebuilding your attention. Replace automatic consumption with an action that lets your mind process the day. Sometimes the distraction is covering an emotion you have been avoiding. Awareness cannot remove loneliness, but it can stop loneliness from controlling your next action. Distance can protect you when intention becomes weak. A better morning often begins with a decision made the night before. Create before you consume, even if the first creation is only a clear thought. Decide when you will use the distraction, instead of letting the distraction decide for you. Give your clearest attention to the work that matters most. The urge may still appear, but it no longer needs an immediate answer. Focus is rebuilt through hundreds of small returns. Track the behavior so your mind can see evidence of improvement. A planned check has a beginning, a purpose, and an ending. Stop while you still want more. That is where the training happens. Even a controlled distraction still has a cost, which is why boundaries matter. Clear rules save energy that constant negotiation would waste. A disciplined environment makes the wrong action inconvenient. Focus becomes deeper when your environment stops interrupting you. Attention grows slowly, like strength built through repeated training. Progress does not make you immune to the old pattern. A relapse often hurts more when you believed the struggle was already over. The mistake is not the end of the story, unless you refuse to return. Honest recovery is more useful than pretending the setback never happened. Reduce the task and restart before shame steals the rest of the day. Recovery does not erase the mistake. It prevents the mistake from becoming your identity. The old habit often returns strongest when you are tired and disappointed. Self-control sometimes means accepting discomfort without immediately escaping it. Your nervous system needs time to remember that silence is safe. A better night does not create a perfect morning, but it gives you more room to choose. One difficult day is an event. Repeating it without resistance becomes a pattern. Use technology to protect your attention instead of constantly testing your willpower. Discomfort becomes less threatening when you stop treating it as an emergency. Staying with one problem teaches your mind that difficulty can be survived. The urge to escape often weakens after you remain with the task long enough. Entertainment is not the enemy when you choose it consciously. A boundary becomes real only when you keep it while wanting to continue. The faster you return, the less momentum the distraction can steal. Progress is not only fewer distractions, it is faster recovery after distraction. Some distractions steal more than time. They change how you feel about your own life. You are comparing your complete life to carefully selected moments. Return to your own evidence when the internet makes your progress feel invisible. Real growth often looks ordinary when viewed one day at a time. You do not need to keep every temptation nearby to prove that you are strong. Removing access exposes how automatic the habit had become. A habit begins weakening when the easiest path is no longer available. Peace may feel unfamiliar before it begins to feel natural. The routine becomes easier when the previous night stops working against you. The notification still exists, but it no longer owns the first moment of your day. Repeated choices reduce the distance between intention and action. Focus begins feeling less like punishment and more like a normal part of your life. Self-control is the freedom to finish what matters before reacting to what is loud. Real discipline often looks boring because the inner battle has become quieter. A strong system does not require you to pretend that every day is perfect. You can enjoy technology without allowing it to decide when the day ends. The absence of a struggle can be evidence that the training is working. Your attention begins returning to the life directly in front of you. You did not become focused because temptation disappeared. You became better at returning. The world may continue asking for your attention, but you decide what receives it. Protect your environment, pause before reacting, and give important work your clearest attention. Your attention is your life. Protect it, rebuild yourself, and change your future one conscious decision at a time.